Hey, YouTube, it's Goddess T's Journey. And I'm doing a review of Bel Air Season 2, Episode 1. And I'm going to be doing the second episode as well. I'm going to do voiceovers for some of my episodes and then do some videos for some of them as well. So this is going to be entertaining. Okay. So I was very entertained. A lot of people don't really like the show, but I love it. It's like a different version to, the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So it's so good. I was loving it. Loving it. Last night I watched both episodes. We're going to start with episode 1. Sorry for the yarn. I'm a little tired, Hillary and Jazz are keeping their relationship on the low. So the beginning of the episode is basically them showing, Will. And Will's out there. He's staying with his cousin. Not his cousin, but with Jazz. And, well, they're kind of like family, but technically not really. But he's staying with Jazz at this time. He's still not talking to Uncle Phil. He's talking to the other family members, though. So he's trying to get, and then at that moment, they were showing him talking to this guy, and he's trying to get this recruiter named Doc to talk to him so that he can get set up, how he was in Philly with his basketball and stuff like that. He's trying to get a recruiter or someone to look at him so he can get a scholarship and things like that for college, because there's nobody coming to his games and stuff in Philly. He's not really getting put on the team like he was in Philly, because, he's at Bel Air, it's a mostly predominantly white school, really. There's some black kids, but it's mostly white kids, so you know how that goes. So, they push him more for the white people and things like that. So he's trying to get in touch with Doc at the moment. So the guy that he was talking to knows Doc and could hook him up. So he said, I'll see what I can do, see if you can meet with him or whatever. So Hillary is now, in this season, the head of the influencer house now. She's working with the girl Ivy. It's really Karuchi, the actress. She, the girl that was with Chris Brown. Hillary is the head influencer or manager of the house now. And Ivy, put up the money, and she has this water or some type of beverage that she's selling, and she basically paid for that house, the influence house. So she had Hillary, the first job for her to get rid of the males, the 2 guys that were left over from the influence house, and let them know that they are no longer welcome and they need to go. So she had to do the dirty work and tell them, and they were basically crying. She was telling Jazz. Jazz was like, you a boss, when you a boss, you gotta do boss things, so you already know. And I'm like, yeah, sorry. You the one who said you wanted to be manager of the house, and now you got the position you want, so what now? Now, this episode also is going to be a celebration of Ashley's birthday also. So everybody is going to go. Will was talking about, well, I'm not going to go because, me and Uncle Phil don't get along, and I'm not talking to him, and I don't want no drama, blah, 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 But I'm like, well, you better go to Ashley's birthday. You can't miss out on Ashley's birthday just because you and Uncle Phil ain't talking. That don't make no sense. So on Biv did this interview about her fellowship sponsorship and talking about what she wanted to do with it, things like that. And the reporter was interviewing her, asking her all these questions. Oh, for real? I thought that you're asking her, I thought your whole standpoint behind it was you were going to use already up and coming people, already people that already had, followings and stuff. And she said, no, I want to also deal with people that are up and coming artists like me that are of, of color who, don't have as much opportunities in the industry to get exposure. I want to help those people. It's what I'm going to do. And then I was okay. And then later in the episode, come to find out they undermine her. And basically what she said in the interview, they take all the stuff out and put with the person that's the head of the guy, I guess that artist guy that she was dealing with last season, the weirdo, and Michael Ealy's character. He basically changed the information in the interview or what have. So he basically undermined what she said, and she was very ticked off about that. Now, Carlton is still talking to Will, and he's basically was talking with Will in the episode, and he's he picks him up from school, and drops him off. So he was talking to him, was like, how you doing? And Will pulled out some money and return the money that he got from Carlton. He's like, I don't need this, but thank you for your help, and return the money. He's like, where are you getting this money from? He's like, I'm doing a little with this and that. He said, what's a little? He said, doing packages and all of that. He said, oh no, you can't be doing that. We're family. You come to us. Don't do that. We're still your family. Why would you do that? He's just like, it's not a big deal. I'm playing basketball and stuff too, making a little money, and I want to be my own man now. I want to depend on people. So, he's going on the deep end basically, because he's just mad because he wasn't told the information. He just felt like, that his uncle should have told him or what have. So when he's like, I got it under control, and then Carlton's like, okay, I'm just saying. So they walk into the school, and then there's this girl that looks at Carlton, and Carlton looks at her too, and then he gets real shy or whatever, and then Will's like, well, you want that? He said, yeah, but she won't want me. He said, nah, we good. I know a way to get her. So there's this BSU group for the black students. They have this group where they do certain activities, certain things. So Will brings him there, and then there's this guy in the group that gets mad at Carlton, like, oh, when you were doing your lecture and you came, and after that we hadn't seen you. And then Carlton was like, and then Will's like, say how you feel. And Carlton was just basically saying, when I come to these meetings, I respect everything people are saying, but all we're going to do is complain about this stuff? Are we not going to do something to make a change or make things happen? Make things happen? Are we not going to... And then y'all bitch and moan about stuff, but then y'all don't do nothing about it. Like, y'all just complain about stuff. And then the girl, he liked this, the president of it. So she's like, yeah, I respect that. I respect your opinion, things like that, or what have. And, everybody's opinion is, warranted in the group and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, okay, he felt good. And then Will's like, yeah, having his cousin's back. So we're going back to Ashley, because Ashley's at school or what have you. She walks past her Mrs. Hughes' classroom, and she sees these two people, like it looks like the principal or somebody in an authoritative stance talking to her. And she looks in, and then they close the door so she can't see, and she's just like looking, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, that little girl that was watching her and like shook her head, and so when she did that, they came. So she basically was snitching on the teacher to them and then getting her in trouble. So then they spoke to her because she was giving her like, books to read and telling her about things that she should read to help her. Now, next thing that happens is Will meets up with Jeffrey, but he calls him G. So Will speaks to G and talks about, he doesn't want to go back home. He wants to be his own man now and things of that nature. He's doing big things out here in these streets and doing so good and, making his money by playing basketball and stuff like that. He said, like what you did in Philly then. Doing the same thing. He said, nah, it's going to be different. He said, in Philly, I really didn't have a plan, but this time I have a plan. He's, and I'm going to be my own man. He said, if you're going to be your own man, if you were trying to be that, a real man deals with things head on, not run from them. So I understand what you said, but okay. And then, Jeffrey goes to the house and sees on Phil, and they greet each other. Uncle Phil is still mad at Jeffrey for giving the information to Will against his wishes or whatever. So he's still mad about that. So, Jeffrey apologizes to Uncle Phil for overstepping his boundaries and making what he felt personal about what was going on with his son and his situation, the fact about his son, the fact he can't really see his son and things like that. He put his feelings into it, and that he is sorry about that, but that he has some concerns about Will, and that he feels like he needs to get a hand on Will, because Will is trying to go back in the streets and do the same things he did in Philly, and he's afraid for him and things like that. So Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv is like, yo, and then, Uncle Phil didn't apologize, and he was still being stubborn, and blah, 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 blah. And then, Aunt Viv was just looking at him like, really? You're really not going to apologize? You're not going to say sorry? So then they go back to Jazz and Will, and, they're preparing to go to Ashley's party because, he made a decision he's going to go. And then Jazz like, yeah, you would have been messed up if he didn't go to her party. But, he was ironing his clothes and things like that. And then Will was like, yo, I got to go to this thing because Doc's, that young guy that was talking with him, told him, oh, Doc has this basketball thing that you can come to show him your skills and things like that. Come through. And then he's like, oh, when? What day? He said, right now. Come on. He's like, oh, dang. So they're like, oh, we're going to be late. And then, Jazz takes him there. Will's plays, basically, they ask, basically, for people to see if they want to go against this guy or what have. And everybody's like, ooh. And Will's like, I'll do it. And this guy's mad tall and muscular and stuff. So everybody assumes he's going to do well or what have. So Will does really well. Like at first the guy's like dominating and he's not able to, I think they played a game of horse or whatever where you keep basically throwing the ball to the person and then once the person missed, then you take over and you make your points. I've played that before. So I think they were playing horse to see who would make the points, and he did really well. And Doc was impressed, but he's like, yeah, I'm not taking on no new clients though or what have. All right, so then it's like they're this close to being late, and then Jazz is like, come on. So he got just in the car, and then Jazz and him making it this close to missing it. They basically were having a party for Ashley, a yacht party or something like that. So it was pretty good, and everybody seems good, Will hugs Aunt Viv and talks to everybody else, but he's like staying clear of Uncle Phil because he doesn't want to have no drama at the party. But later in the party, they go down to the thing, and then Uncle Phil and Will basically have a heart-to-heart, and then Uncle Phil basically admits, he understands that he thought that he did what was best, but he knows now that he did it in such things, just admitting that it was kind of wrong for what he did. And then they both apologized, and then he hugged it out, and then they were back on terms or whatever. And then Ashley, also her sister Hillary, Ivy had the display for her drink or whatever there. And like basically a whole kiosk or something there. She's just like, I told you to bring drinks, but I tell you to bring a whole kiosk. Like, come on now. She's like, oh, And she said, I want to talk about our partnership, because I just feel like, like it's not equal. And she said, okay, I understand. Blah, blah, blah. And then, Jazz or whatever was at the party, and then Ivy asked her like, oh, yo, Hillary, your friend Jazz, is he talking to someone or something, And, Hillary didn't want to say whether she was dating him, which I think that she should have said that she was dating him and that they was messing around and stuff. So a girl would have been pushing up on him. She didn't, and then the whole night at the boat party, the girl was dancing on him and grinding on him and having a good old time with him and do all of this and this and that in front of her, and she getting all jealous. And then was like, I see someone's jealous. And he's like, what you talking about? And he's like, I'm seeing something. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Or whatever. So she didn't want to admit it, but later in the episode, later in the night, like Ivy was about to start kissing him, and then she said, no, I can't have that happen. I'm admit me and him is together, and we together, right, Jazz? I want to make it official. And then she kissed him, and then it's like Ivy's like, why you didn't say nothing? That's crazy. Well, she basically did that because Ivy was going to kiss him because he took like a picture with her drink with this big time person at the party that they had there and what have. And then, you know how that goes. She was going to thank him by giving him a kiss, but then she shut that down. Now they're together. They're official now. And then at Ashley's party, she had a guest come, Sweetie the rapper, which I'm just like, of all people you could get, you're going to get Wax Sweetie. No offense, Sweetie's mad name. And Sweetie, which sing her happy birthday. She could barely rap. Now you got her singing. Come on now. That's ridiculous. So that was pretty crazy. Everybody was having a good time. And finally, Will and Lisa finally talked. And Will was just letting her know that, you know, he does love her and he cares for her, but he's just tired of hiding who he is from people. He just feels like, you know, her dad is never going to accept him and he's never going to be liked. And she's like, well, Lisa's like, well, you never cared about that before. But he's like, it's very important to me, you know, that I'm able to be who I am and be out there. He said, so for that, I do love you, but we're just going to have to be on break. So she's just like, So her, and she's like, oh, are they over? He said, if it's meant to be, will be. And then she just was like, when he walked away, I love you too. And then she was just sad. And then in the end of the episode, Will got a call from Doc telling him, oh, I'm going to be at your next game. And when you play at this next game, I want to see the kid from I want to see the kid from Philly. I want to see this Bel Air cat. I want to see that Philly boy come out. I want to see you play. And then he hung up, and that boy that introduced, like, got him the talking with Doc was there, and he said, you know, the kid's interesting, but you know, and then showed a picture of his family and showed a picture of his uncle. So Doc is now interested in him because of his uncle, like his family ties to the uncle. So it's gonna be interesting to find out and see what G is gonna find out about him and what's gonna happen in reference to that. So it's very interesting, and it's very interesting, the storylines. I like this show because it's not so much like, like all the other shows where it's just constant drug this, drug that. It's like, it's a little bit drug stuff, but it's more so about family and the trial and tribulations that's happening. It's a really good show. I love it. So that's episode 1. This is season 2, episode 1 of Bel Air. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, YouTube. It's God, His T's Journey.